Mo Salah is, the player of the year. Nobody can dispute that. This year he's been exceptional. He's been. I was reading an article. He's been compared to Messi.
Well, he's got that left foot, hasn't he? Like Messi, and he's an exceptional talent, and you know what he's going to do. You know he's going to cut inside and try and bend it in that far corner, or you know he's going to try and outside of the foot try and put that dangerous ball in that he always seems to do. His trademark, but people just can't stop him. That's how good he is.
So, Jack, another week. We had midweek matches, but it looks like Liverpool are going to be crowned champions. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not good for Man United fans, is it? And but it is good for the league because we've seen Man City win it last 4 years in a row. So I'm pleased it's somebody different. The only thing, it's a shame that it's not being as competitive to the end that we'd all wanted it to be. Like maybe going down to the last few weeks and making it a bit more interesting. But I think Arsenal they've dropped off, haven't they? And it's shown because they've not got that striker that they need to propel them to the championship. They've not got that firepower. They've not got that focal point, and they've not got someone like a Salah who just puts the ball in the net very consistently and sets up chances as well, of course. So yeah, it's a shame in that sense. Yeah, good for Liverpool. They do deserve to win. I think they've been the best and most consistent team throughout the season. I know it's not confirmed, but I think everybody would probably agree that it's very likely, highly likely they've wrapped it up. And yeah, another season missing out for Arsenal.
I agree with you. Arsenal have not been consistent enough. And another thing that you mentioned, Mo Salah is, the player of the year. Nobody can dispute that. This year he's been exceptional. He's been. I was reading an article. He's been compared to Messi.
Well, he's got that left foot, hasn't he? Like Messi, and he's an exceptional talent, and you know what he's going to do. You know he's going to cut inside and try and bend it in that far corner, or he's going to try and outside of the foot try and put that dangerous ball in that he always seems to do. His trademark, but people just can't stop him. That's how good he is. And he's tricky, and he's not just it's not just scoring, is it? It's assisting. He seems to do everything, and his work rate and his fitness levels. He's past 30 now, and he's looking good. He's looking in tip-top shape, and we've seen that with Messi, and we've seen that with Ronaldo. They've lasted a high level right until their late 30s. So maybe Salah can carry on, and also he's only 79 goals behind Alan Shearer's Premier League record. And I know a few people are saying, if he maybe signs that new Liverpool deal next 2-3 seasons, he could maybe catch that and break the record. So who knows? I mean, he's got some targets to aim for individually as well as with the team. So
Yes.
let's see that.
So until the end of the year, we need to concentrate on who is going to qualify for the Champions League spaces.
Yeah, that's more interesting, isn't it? Much more interesting now.
Yeah. So
Because
Nottingham
we've got
Forest,
Forest in third. Yeah.
yes,
Sorry,
and
you go.
Man City in fourth,
Yeah.
Chelsea, Newcastle, Bournemouth, even Brighton, in eighth place, they are all up there. It's just 3-4 points between them. So the
Yeah.
competition will be fierce, in my opinion, until the end of the year.
Because Forest are in third, and they've had an amazing season, haven't they, against all expectations? But they're only 6 points ahead of Aston Villa, who are in 10th, who are halfway down the table. So it's a real bunched up group, and it's a bit like what we used to seeing in the Championship. The second division down. That competitive element in the mid table towards the playoffs area. This is like this for the Champions League and the European places, and it is good to see. I mean, it is, like I say, a shame about the title race, but this makes up for it in a way because it's going to be so close between those teams. And Man City obviously dropped off a lot, but they've, at the start of the season, they started to pick things up again, and that's, they're looking good contenders for the top four. Arsenal, they're still comfortably ahead. I see they're 6 points still clear ahead of Forest in third. They're still 6 points ahead, but how demoralised will they be, and teams will be looking to have a go at Arsenal and give them a good game because Arsenal will be sort of scratching their heads as to what's happened. They thought they were really in the title race and they just really dropped off, and so maybe they might drop down a bit. They might be sort of drawn into that mix as well. Obviously, from my point of view, I hope Newcastle, get in that top five, but they got the FA Cup to look forward to, and they've got the League Cup final. So, you know, priorities really. I want to see him win a trophy, and if that means not getting the European place, I'd be happy to sacrifice that for one of the two cups that at least. So, but yeah, it's going to be exciting, and a lot of the teams towards the end of the season play each other. Villa in particular, play a lot of the teams in and around them. I think they've got Man City, they've got Newcastle, they might even have Bournemouth in the last four games. So the teams can take points off each other, and it can change really quickly. So yeah, roll on those last 11 games that we've got. It's going to be exciting for that in that sense.
And the relegation zone, I think, is between Wolves, Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton now.
Yeah, well, Southampton, I think they're pretty much down, aren't they? I mean, they've got 9 points. They need three more points to beat the record that nobody wants, which is the lowest total in the Premier League era, which Derby got. 11 points they got. So they've got an incentive there, but they're to beat, to not get the record, the unwanted record. I think they're down. So let's say they're down. But we've got what? We've got Leicester, Ipswich, 17 points, 5 points behind Wolves. I mean, 5 points, and Wolves do have a better goal difference, a much better goal difference than those two teams. So let's say it's 6 points effectively. So that's a bit of a task with 11 games to go. And when you're down there, you need it. You need it every point. You scrap for every single point, don't you? And you need to win your home games, and that's the key thing. I think. Yeah, Everton are pulled clear because of David Moyes has been like a magician since he's got in there. So we can count them out. So yeah, it's 2 from 3, isn't it? I think I think Wolves have got enough quality to stay up. It's just it's more whether the other teams have got enough quality to try and catch them. I'd probably go with Ipswich rather than Leicester in like putting the fight to Wolves and to try and catch them up. But it's not been good for Ruud van Nistelrooy at Leicester, and they look pretty much they don't look that fancy to stay up, to be honest, from my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let me go through the midweek matches. It was Brighton 2, Bournemouth 1, Crystal Palace 4, Aston Villa 1. Big surprise for me, but even though Crystal Palace lately they are in good form. Wolves 1, Fulham 2, Chelsea 4, Southampton 4, Brentford 1-1 draw with Everton, Man United 3-2. Very eventful match.
As always.
Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man City, away win for Man City, 1-0. Liverpool, your team, Newcastle, 2-0. You are not really very competitive in the match. And West Ham, 2, Leicester, 0. So, where shall we start?
Yeah, let's start with Man United because I watched the start of that game while I was waiting for the Newcastle game to start, which I didn't enjoy either. But yeah, the Man United game was a crazy game, wasn't it? And it's just a strange time to be a Man United fan. I'm sure you feel that because they're celebrating. There seemed to be quite a buoyant atmosphere at the end, but they're celebrating, scraping past. I know they had 10 men, but scraping past Ipswich, relegation, probably like to go down, really. So, it seems a bit of a strange one, and Dorgu had a bit of a nightmare game, didn't he, Dorgu? And I put him at fault for that error. I mean, I know Onana came running out, but he surely would have shouted to him and it told him where he was. And then he put it on a plate for that first goal for Ipswich, and then that ridiculous tackle that he did.
I'm not
crazy.
Yeah, let me interrupt you. I'm not so sure because if he stayed in his line, it was an easy back pass. He didn't have to come all the way up there. So
yeah, he was, but he is known for sweeping up. But yeah, that's true. But surely it just shows like there's no communication. There doesn't seem to be any joined up tactics or thinking. Surely the defenders would be told that the keeper likes to come out, and they would know that's his job to come and clear out. Anyway,
For,
between them, it
for
was a
me,
disaster,
for
wasn't
me,
it?
it was 70-30 Onana's fault. Another
Yeah.
Onana clanger.
Yeah, well, yeah. Maybe I'm just trying to, give cut Anano a bit of slack, but because he's had some moments in the season, hasn't he? He's made some brilliant saves. He's a great keeper in that sense, shot stopper, but he does make some real clangers, as you say, some real mistakes.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that there's things like towards the end where Casemiro came on, did a few tackles, and he was like beating his chest out to the Man United fans and getting them going, all that sort of thing. It just seemed all a bit. I don't know. It just didn't feel right, especially as he's the sort of player who's on the big money, while Man United and Radcliffe again is getting rid of more staff, hundreds of more staff, and cutting the lunches. It just seems a bit. The culture is all wrong at the moment at Man United, in my opinion.
Yeah. And okay, they showed the fighting spirit after we were with 10 men down, that's for sure. And we scored goals from set pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, again, the last six goals Man United have scored have been from a Bruno Fernandes free kick or set
Yeah.
piece. Or
Yeah.
set piece, yeah. So it's just so three set piece goals to beat Ipswich is not that impressive. And also Garnacho was not happy at all, was he, to be
No.
substituted, to be the one who had to make way. He wasn't happy at all.
He, wa-
So
yeah, he went straight down to the tunnel
yeah.
after. So I don't know. The manager said he was going to speak to him after in the press conference, and
Yeah.
also they asked him about the layoffs, and
Yeah.
apparently, if you believe what's coming out from the press, is that the players are really, you know, they didn't like his comments that the players are living in a bubble and they are not affected by what's going on. And at the same time, these layoffs are due to the fact that the team is not performing well. So it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's really a
It's a
mess.
mess. It's a big mess. And I don't like. I don't like. Nobody likes seeing people lose their jobs, and especially as the players are on so much money and they've spent so much money on Dan Ashworth, on Ten Hag, you know, paying them off. But it is true that Man United had far too many staff. They had a 1,100 plus staff, and Man City have 600 staff. So it's almost double. That they're cross city rivals. It's just too many staff, but yeah, the way it's been gone about, the way it's been done, and the pathetic cuts that they've been making, it's just petty, and it's just saving a couple of thousand here a week. It's just it's just really they're the people, aren't they? And I can't remember who I heard it from. It was a former Man United player. I think it was Teddy Sheringham. He said these people, the tea ladies, the cleaners, the pitch staff, the groundsmen. These people, they're the ones that are the heart and soul of the club. They live and breathe Man United, and they put a smile on the faces, and the players know how much it means to play for the club because they're around these people. And
Yeah.
getting rid of a lot of these people is going to really harm it even more. I think the culture it can't be a good thing. Yeah.
Man City, do you think they are trying to find some rhythm at last?
Yeah, well, and they've not got the Champions League to worry about now, have they? So they
Yeah.
can just focus on, they got the FA Cup, but they can just focus on the league and trying to save their season, from being a complete disaster of not making the top 4 or 5. So I can see them. To be honest, I can see them catching Arsenal. I can
You
definitely see
think
them
so?
catching Arsenal. Yeah, because I know they're still a bit inconsistent, but they thrashed Newcastle. Newcastle weren't very good, 4-0, but they looked impressive. They went to Spurs. I know it's Spurs, but it's still a place to go, a difficult place to go. They got the win there. And they don't, like I say, they don't have the midweek games to worry about, whereas Arsenal do. So I don't know. That's a prediction, but I think Man City could catch up with Arsenal, and Arsenal have form for throwing it away and teams catching them up. So yeah, so that's that. And Newcastle again, really disappointing that away game at Liverpool. I wasn't expecting anything because, like away at Man City, Newcastle have a terrible record away at Liverpool. Shocking. So I wasn't expecting much, but it was. Look, they didn't play terribly, but they didn't look like they were ever in it. And without Isak playing, I think the players look at it and think, well, we got Wilson, he's a good striker, but injury prone. Isak's one of the best strikers in the world, and if he's not playing, that's going to damage any team, let alone Newcastle. So I just hope they were just resting him for for bigger things to come, especially the cup final, and hopefully he'll be okay for that and for the running. But no, that was a really disappointing game as a Newcastle fan.
Okay, let's go to the FA Cup. Today we have one match, Aston Villa Cardiff. So I expect Aston Villa to win. You know,
Yeah, you'd expect that. You'd expect that, but it is the FA Cup. But Villa got to be one of the three or four teams who really fancy them. You think they'd really fancy their chances in the FA Cup this season? I don't know how seriously they're going to take it though, and they've got injury issues and stuff. But they should be really aiming to win the FA Cup. Someone like Villa, who's left? We've got Arsenal out, we've got Liverpool already out. So these sort of clubs, Villa, Newcastle, Man United, Man City, and even stretching down to like the Bournemouth and things like that. Who else are in it? Forest. They're the teams that should be 4 or 5 teams that should be targeting the FA
yeah.
Cup.
Tomorrow we have Crystal Palace, Millwall, Preston, Burnley, Bournemouth, Wolves, Man City, Plymouth. On Sunday we have Newcastle, Brighton, Man United, Fulham, and on Monday Nottingham Forest, Ipswich.
Yeah, so there's some good games. I picked out the Preston Burnley match because they're local rivals, in the northwest, and they're some of the oldest clubs. There were the two. I heard the other day that was Preston Burnley was the first ever fixture in the league. Back when it started, and when they played that match, I think Burnley won. I can't remember who won, but they didn't actually have points. They didn't figure out that whoever won got points. So they introduced points for the first time the week after that game. And strangely enough, considering they're such old clubs and esteemed clubs, this is the first time in history that Preston and Burnley have ever met in the FA Cup, which I found that amazing, really, when you think of how, 140 years worth of history going back. That's crazy. But yeah, and Man City Plymouth, that's a good away day for Plymouth to go, to the Etihad, and they'll see some good players as well. And it's a difficult one for them, but it'll be good, uh, you know, for the club financially as well to share the gate receipts for that. And I'm sure, they're excited to go. It's a late kickoff, but the Plymouth fans the Green Army will be up there in force. I'm sure. Quite a long way to Manchester down from Plymouth, but. That's just good. It's good to see these different sort of matches. I prefer to see the teams from different divisions playing each other rather than all Premier League ties. To be honest, I much prefer that than the Newcastle Brighton or Man United Fulham matches. So yeah, I'll definitely give that one a watch. And what other games got? Bournemouth Wolves as well. That just happened in the Premier League last week. Wolves won that one surprisingly. So yeah, Bournemouth. Bournemouth are outsiders. They're the dark horses for the. If they take it seriously enough, this competition, they could definitely go all the way, like Brighton. So that's another interesting one. And then also Forest, Nottingham Forest, Ipswich on the Monday. So
So
yeah,
do you expect any upset from these matches?
just looking at the fixtures, I mean, I can't see Plymouth beating Man City. You never know. I'd love to see it. It'll be great, and it'll be great as a Newcastle fan if we can get through
Mi-
and Man City are another team up
Millwall,
there.
Millwall, Crystal Palace.
Millwall, Crystal Palace. Yeah, Palace have been in really good form, but you're going to think they're going to maybe rotate a little bit. I don't know. Again, how seriously they're taking it, and it's all London game, isn't it? And
Yeah.
Millwall, or famous Millwall, bring their fans along, and it could be a great atmosphere there at Selhurst Park. Early kickoff as well. So. And the good thing about the Preston Burnley match again is that there'll be a team from the Championship in the next round, so in the quarterfinals. So that's good, and I don't know. I just like to see the lowest ranked teams get as far as possible. I'd love to see, Plymouth and another champion, at least one or two championship clubs aside from the Preston Burnley match in the next round. Because it's good. It's good to have it and makes it a bit more interesting as well.
Yeah,
What do you think, Man United against Fulham? Do you think
that would be a tough
Man
one.
United tough one, isn't it, for Man
Yeah.
United? And also you're the holders, so you want to try and retain the trophy, don't you?
Yeah, I know, but it's going to be a tough one. Like Newcastle Brighton, it's not going to be an easy
Yeah.
match for Newcastle.
That's the tough one. At least they're at home. At least our teams are at
Yes,
home. That's the
yes,
that's the thing. That it makes a big difference, doesn't it? And I really hope Newcastle can go as far as possible because, you know, like I say, I'd like to see a domestic trophy. God, we're desperate for it. It's been so long, but that League Cup final against Liverpool makes me feel a bit nervous because Liverpool are just they just beat everybody at the moment,
Yeah. But
regardless of what team they put out.
yeah, but
Regardless, so that's why I want an FA Cup run as well. Be
but
greedy.
yeah, it's a one match, and there is no second chance. So there is no return leg. There is no it's just penalties, and you're out. So yeah, you need to be on top of your game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And
So,
yeah, so let's hope because it was a really good round the last time, wasn't it?
yeah,
That
yeah,
Plymouth
yeah.
Liverpool game was brilliant and the FA Cup. So let's hope it lives up to it again and there's more magic and more moments and that I hope that my team goes through. I'm sure you hope Man United goes through. So, and then we'll see who comes out in the next round. But yeah, nice to have a break from the Premier League and see some more FA Cup magic hopefully this weekend.
And it's always exciting to watch the FA Cup matches. So I expect some exciting matches this weekend. So we'll come back next time and analyze these matches. And hopefully there will be an upset.
Yeah, fingers crossed for an upset.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks very much, Jack. See you next time.
Josh.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.